appears you're calling back into a live show. We are reconnecting you now.
This looks bad. All right. We should be live now. It should be live now. Check 1 2, check 1 2. We should be back. We should be able to. You should be able to hear the show now. I hope you can, YouTube. Yeah, sound is good here. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Lisa, Mr. X. Back Jelly. What's up, Ben a Fool? Peter Griff. Let's make sure Facebook's good. Facebook Dolores. Manu. Dory, what's up? Bruce, oh, this is old comments. Leanne Williamson. All right. All right. Kill your volume. Mrs. Black saved the day. So, give it up for Mrs. Black. Like, what are you doing back there? What are you doing? Is this plug supposed to be out? No, it's not. She just came in and just solved it. I bow to your greatness. All right, people. So, today was a shit day, and then this happened. All right. Let's start with, well, you know, for me it was. So everything is relative to your own personal experience. Some of you probably had a good day. I know who had a very good week. Actually, I don't even know when it happened. David Packman hit 1 million subscribers. Give it up for David Packman. Yes, we do not hate over here. We get hated on, but we don't hate. Much love to David Packman. Good vibes all the way around. Good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. That's what we got to do, man. I'll see you at the top, my brother. I started from the bottom, and I'm like just a little bit off the bottom, but still. All right, so it's all good. It's fantastic, and we're doing our thing. So that's what's happening in independent media. A couple of things, a couple of announcements to people on Facebook and YouTube Periscope. Charlamagne the God. Yeah, I'm going to go there. Charlamagne the God. I don't have the image, but I can tell you. Okay, I'll just tell you. He made history by launching the Black Effect Podcast Network on iHeart. Charlamagne the God has built a major following in the radio and podcast space, and now he's ready to grow it exponentially. The Hall of Fame radio jockey and entrepreneur announced a joint venture with iHeartRadio on Wednesday. Now, I didn't know about this until today, so I saw this on the Joe Budden podcast. Joe Budden's quickly becoming somebody. I'm like, okay, that I'm, checking out because he just, he's talking about ownership, and I like that. And then we got Charlamagne with ownership, and the Black Effect Podcast Network has a roster of talent, which will include Jess Hilarious, Tamika Mallory, activist, social justice activist, attorney and TV host Ebony K. Williams, many others as well. Nina Turner is going to be on it. Teslin Figaro. Was it Figaro? I always say it wrong. TZ is going to be there. Also, the Drink Champs with Noriega. It's going to be a lot of folks on it. So give it up for people winning in 2020. Even though we got a pandemic, people still managing to win a little. And this is for the culture. This is for black entertainment. And it's dope. So give it up for that. Don't hate the player, hate the game. So now, tonight, let me put the phone number up anyway. Let me put the phone number back up. Not that. That's the cartoon by my man Stevens. All right, so phone number's right here, 319-527-6212. I only got two things before we jump into the phone lines. Only got two things, two stories we got to deal with. And this is so sincere. I'm so sincere with this. We all know the story of Breonna Taylor. I'm not going to bore you going through it again. If you don't know what happened to the 26-year-old lady who was gunned down in her own home, then do a little bit of research, come back, holler at us when you are, fresh out of your coma. Because we all know about Breonna Taylor. We know that there's certain people who are making this about a conspiracy, that she was a major drug trafficker who just happened to live adjacent to the hood and worked as an EMT. Those big-time drug traffickers that work for the state and have a little tiny apartment somewhere with no drugs at their house, though. And then we got the other narrative, which is the narrative I subscribe to, which is, damn, these cops just shot a woman in her bed and killed her for no reason. That's the side I'm on, with the no-knock warrant. So today there was a settlement in that case. In fact, it was a record-setting settlement. This is the most money who's ever in a civil lawsuit for a wrongful death or killing by cop for a black woman in the history of America. Because typically, they would just kill black women and not give them anything. And they still do kill black women and don't give them anything. But this award here, and actually not giving her anything, they're trying to give the families some form of settlement. So anyway, here goes a little bit about that. Yeah.
I just have.
Tonight, one of the largest settlements involving police excessive force in U.S. history. Louisville agreeing to pay $12 million in the wrongful death lawsuit brought by Breonna Taylor's family.
I'm deeply, deeply sorry for Breonna's death.
Today's announcement comes 6 months after plainclothes officers barged into the 26-year-old EMT's apartment at night on a no-knock search warrant. Her boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, who told investigators he never heard police announce themselves, says he fired a warning shot with his legally owned gun. Police shooting back, killing Taylor. An officer was also struck.
Say her name!
For months, protests across the country demanding justice for Breonna. Today, with the criminal case against the three officers is still pending, Breonna's mother saying the fight for justice is not over.
We need charges brought against these officers. I'm still working for getting justice from her, and it's just, for me, it'll never be over.
All right, so a couple of details about the case that you may not know about this settlement. This agreement that has been reached, this is the civil side of it. There are still criminal charges pending, okay? I know it's been 6 months, and there's still been no charges with the officers, but that could change within the end of this week because they are deliberating a grand jury as we speak. Now, the agreement, this $12 million agreement, it did not require the city to even acknowledge that there was wrongdoing on the behalf of the Louisville, Kentucky Police Department. So basically, they just gave her money. They gave the family money because they're just really nice people. Not because they could have sued and take this all the way through, because this didn't really go to court. This is a settlement. So you would think the settlement, this is routine, right? But these types of settlements are, they're bittersweet, right? This is bittersweet. I mean, I've seen people already in the comment section going, all the family wanted was money. This is a hell of a thing to say when it's not your child who's been killed, when it's not your sister who's been killed. That's a hell of a thing to say. They've been wanting charges on the officers all this time. There just hasn't been an attorney general that would actually bring those charges. Do you understand? No, you don't want to understand. These people don't care to understand. They don't give a damn. What they like to do is troll the internet and make it unbearable for others. So, as in all these other cases, this is the agreement that they were able to come to without admitting any guilt. But there are some things about this case which makes it a little bit different. There are some conditions of the settlement which may be beneficial to future, or in a goal of avoiding future Breonna Taylors or future people being shot dead in their own homes. Changes. The policing changes will require more oversight by top commanders and make mandatory safeguards that were common practice in the department, but were not followed the night of March 13th raid. They would also put in place an early warning system to flag officers who have been accused of excessive force. Okay, so this botched raid, I'm not exactly sure how you avoid a botched raid. Are they going to end the no-knock warrants? Are you going to end the no-knock warrants? I know I heard some talk of some other measures, but I don't hear end of no-knock warrants. Okay, so here go the changes, okay? A requirement that commanding officers review and give written approval for all search warrants. A policy that was instituted recently in Lexington, the second largest city in Kentucky, and it has led to a drastic drop in the riskiest raids, said Peter B. Groska, a professor at Eastern Kentucky University, who's an expert on police reform. So this guy says this helps a lot. I don't know if it does or not. But the department also agreed to overhaul how simultaneous search warrants are conducted, most likely a result of the manner in which the 5 warrants were obtained for Mrs. Taylor residence and 4 others used as trap houses by her ex-boyfriend. An early warning system will be adopted to flag officers with disciplinary problems, a measure that seems aimed at Detective Brett Hankinson, the officer who was fired. Oh, so one officer was fired. I didn't know an officer was fired, Johnson. That's nice of him. It's mighty white of him. Thank you. Multiple complaints of excessive use of force as well as sexual misconduct have been filed against Detective Hankinson. You know, last time I covered the Breonna Taylor case, my comment section was inundated with people with all types of theories of how Breonna Taylor caused her own death. But I didn't see any of this. None of this that I'm seeing right now did I see then. I didn't see that the cop who shot her shouldn't even be a cop anymore before this incident. That just goes to show you how much the Candace Owens types give a damn about actual due process and fair treatment. He should not have even been on the job. But then again, if we fired all the cops who had domestic abuse backgrounds, there'd be no cops. We all know that cops is one of the highest professions with numbers. When it comes to numbers, ratio numbers of domestic violence, domestic abuse charges. We all know that, right? Blue Lives Matter, you didn't communicate that to the rest of the country when you were telling them how dangerous it is to be a cop. You never mentioned how dangerous it is to be married to a cop. That part always seems to slide out. To promote better relations. Now, this one I like, okay? To promote better relations between department and the community, officers will be encouraged to perform 2 hours of paid community service. Each pay period will receive housing credits to encourage them to live in neighborhoods they police, according to a summary provided by Mr. Aguiar. Oh, okay. So you're going to be encouraged to go live in the hoods that you patrol, that you prey on, to get your numbers up, because of the system which requires that you get your numbers up. It's not just the police, it's also the structure of policing that demands that you bring us the numbers. Let's be very specific here. It says many of the changes appear to be aimed at the specific lapses that led to Ms. Taylor's death. It will now be mandatory for ambulances to be idling nearby when the police conduct a search. Although it was common practice to do so, an ambulance was initially sent to Ms. Taylor's residence before the raid, only to be canceled and sent elsewhere in the hour before police officers beat down her door. Wow, once again, more information that somehow escaped the prying eyes of all the theorists who said that, that Breonna Taylor was some type of relation to Chapo, Pablo Escobar. I mean, this is the way these morons talk on the internet. Don't listen to them. I have to listen to them because I got to beat their asses when I do these videos. But you do not have to listen to them. They are idiots. They're dangerous, though, and they're bigoted. And some people just want views, Johnson. So some of them are bigots. Some of them are just people who just want views. Capitalistic society, eat your own, tap dance for the state, that type of thing. Feed the momentum of division in the country. Get paid like a mofo. Ms. Taylor's mother, an activist who had played a leading role in the city's ongoing demonstrations, warned that the settlement was merely a first step. As the sound of the drums banged by protesters on the street, people wailed in the auditorium. Lawyers and advocates for the family took the microphone to call for an indictment of the officers involved in the shooting. So this is how it works. Louisville threw money at a problem that they obviously, if they're going to give you 12, maybe they could have got 25. I don't know. But in order to avoid elongating this trial with a lengthy trial, they decided to go ahead and settle it. Now, the purpose of this benefits the Kentucky Police Department because it gets it out of the news. The flip side is people get to say, oh, Breonna Taylor's family just want money, so now they're happy. No, they're not. But you wouldn't know that because you don't watch the shows. You don't care about following the story at all. Would you be happy if it was your daughter who was dead? I'm just asking. That's an easy question. It should be an easy question. See, we don't look at each other as equals. For some reason, poor, brown people don't be considered as equal. All of us care about our family members, our friends, don't we? So anyway, that's the story on Breonna Taylor. Horrific story. It's not over. It's not over. It's not over. Right? Because we are going to keep up the pressure until these officers are brought to task for what they did. They killed a woman in her own room. She won't benefit. She doesn't benefit from, no matter how much money this was. She didn't benefit from that. Oh, I set a record in my death. Great. All right. The officers need to be held accountable that did this. Period. All you grand conspiracists out there pulling hamstrings in your brain, trying to come up with a scenario that will either pad your pockets or pad your bigotry, you're going to have to wait. Take a breather. All right, guys. Now, I'm about to go to phone lines, but first, I have to laugh. I need to laugh, okay? I need to laugh at this. I want to laugh at this. I want to find this funny. Hope that you find it funny as well. Hispanic Heritage Month. Joe Biden giving a speech. Where were they at? They were here.
Tonight, one of the
Hispanic Heritage Month event with Joe Biden in Kissimmee. That's it. Kissimmee, Florida. Okay? Here we go now. This is Mr. Luis. Is that how you pronounce it? This is Eva. Is she really famous? This is the Ricky Martin guy. And I think we know this other guy, Joe Biden. Okay, so Eva Longoria. Okay. So that's the event, Hispanic Heritage Month event with Joe Biden in Kissimmee. Tim Black, what could go wrong with this? Come on, man. What's the problem? What the problem?
I just have one thing to say. Hang on here.
All right. There you go. Dance a little bit, Joe. Come on.
I tell you, my man. I tell you what, if I had the talent of any one of these people, I'd be elected president by acclamation.
Joe Biden doing the old pandering move. Yeah, it's a patented pandering move if I've ever seen one. The song he was playing there is Despacito, performed by Luis. That's the guy who was on the picture there. He was actually there at the event. It's not that bad, I guess, because he was there. But would Joe Biden come out to Despacito if he went to a black event? Would he come out to Despacito when he did a white event or whatever, Italian-American event? I don't know. Would he come? No, he wouldn't have. He only came out to Despacito because it's Hispanic Heritage Month, and there he is. Boy, you heard the guy telling them to dance. That's one. Look, Joe Biden made a good decision finally. Not to dance. If he'd have danced, this would have been like Roly-Poly Martin. Roland Martin when he was dancing with Hillary. I dance. Everybody's got a little Tariq in them. Now, just a little background on Despacito. Despacito has been widely credited by music journalists as being instrumental in popularizing Spanish language pop music in the mainstream market. Again, it is a reggaeton and Latin pop song composed in common time with lyrics about having a sexual relationship, performed in a smooth and romantic way. Do you think Joe knows he went out there to play a song about getting your thing on? You know what I'm saying? Let's get it on. You know, I don't know, man. I mean, there was a time I probably would have ignored this. I can't, look, pandering is what the Democratic Party does to brown, black. If he'd have went to, like if he went to, when he went to South Carolina to steal votes with his boy, his friend, Jim Clyburn, did they play some Biggie? He come out, hold on, malarkey. Listen right here. 1 second. Biggie, boom, 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 boom. This goes out to you, boom, boom. No, he didn't. But you know he wanted to. It's just that his campaign people were slipping. That's what it was. He came out to Biggie at a black gathering. You know what I'm saying? He just say no. If he was in front of an LGBTQ crowd, he'd have came out to some crowd for the straight guy, whatever. That's not music, Tim. I don't know. But you get my point. It's pandering. I don't know what the Hispanic community thinks about this. Like, it's not my place to speak on it. I just find it pathetic. Yeah, I think it's pretty pathetic, you know? But, you know, it's right on par with Trump, who like to say, hey, what do you black guys got to lose? Your schools suck. Your mother dressed you funny. You're broke. You go to jail. You get shot by cops. What you got to lose? Vote for me. It could only get marginally worse. Like we're all like, we're all in the same bucket of despair here. We're all in the same trouble. These options suck. These are horrible options. That's what it is. Which one's less horrible? I don't know. So anyway, that's what I got for you. Despacito, Joe Biden doing this thing. And, Hillary had hot sauce in her purse. She had some, what kind of hot sauce did she have? Louisiana? Or was it Frank's? I don't know. One of those. I guess Biden's got chalupa. Right? I don't know. Chapula? I don't know. A jalapeno-based sauce? I don't know. It's got to do what it's got to do, man. It's got to do what it's got to do to get votes, man. You don't expect him to run on policy, do you? Come on, man. Can't come out here and talk policy. Got to talk about reuniting the soul, restoring the soul of America. Come on, man. This is America. We could all dance to Despacito. Despacito, Despacito. How about health care? Oh, screw that. Get that man out of here. Malarkey. Want to go outside and fight? Come on, fat. We're dancing to Despacito. Despacito. You up here talking about health care and minimum wage and legalizing cannabis. We want to dance to Despacito. Come on, man. This is America. We've got time to... This is what we have for you. So Charlamagne the God's starting a new network. Will there be forward thinkers on your network, Charlamagne? Will you have people like Tim Black who would just say shit because it's true? Or is it going to be a bunch of people jumping in line for the Democratic Party going, ooh, Democratic Party. Kamala. All right, I'm a little riled up. I'm going to simmer down. Going to have this show. Going to answer phone calls in the order in which they were received. I'm sorry for the delay. Things happen. I'd like to start the show off tonight with a 562 number. Is this thing working? Run first call. Let me get my headset ready. 562. Hold tight, brother. Wolfpack in the house. All right. First call is 562. 562. You're live on Tim Black Show. What's your name? What's your comment?
Yeah, what's up, Tim Black? How you doing? This is Marvin from California. Hope everything's good with you and the Wolfpack. I won't be long. I'm happy. That when you say you're happy about something, it's like you should show it in your expression and your voice. But it's like, to say that you're happy that a family got a settlement, that's kind of like it's like you said it perfectly, bittersweet, because there ain't no charges. They don't have their daughter coming back or their friend and cousin and sister and all that she's not coming back. And money ain't gonna bring her back, no matter how big the settlement is. The other thing, man, that's just been on my mind since I saw your video last week, man, is just trying to get that stink Obama being the infiltrator and the saboteur of something that could have been big. I'm hurting over that. And like I said, with the Brianna, Tim, take care, peace to all Wolfpack, peace, and be well.
Hey, you too, Marvin, man. Thank you for the phone call, my friend. And I know exactly what you mean, man. It's tough, man. It's disrespectful, but it's more disrespectful, and I got to put myself in the shoes of the parent. It's just another slap in the face to not get a decent settlement. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like another form of disrespect. They take your child, and then they won't admit wrong, and then they won't take care of her, the family, and they won't make any type of amends at all. So, people, what I don't like is the fact that when these police departments do this, taxpayers end up paying for it, right? And that's not right either, right? That money should come out of the police department. Specifically the officers involved. That's why we need to take some of the teeth away from the police union, because police unions shelter these guys. You know, don't get me wrong, there are going to be instances where, it'll be less cut and dry. This is obvious as hell. She committed no crime. She's dead. What else could you? I know we got the Boogie Boys, the Boogaloo Boys, or whatever on the internet, posing as if they are the left or something. Sometimes I don't know these people. But come on, man. Like, really? It's really obvious how you riding, because she wasn't committing any crime. Just anybody associated with this person, they got warrants for everybody that person knew. Everybody, and she was a person who knew him because she used to date him. That doesn't mean she should die, Johnson. That's what that means. That doesn't. All right, I'm gonna go next call, Marvin. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. 601, you live. Tim Black Show. What's your name? What's your comment? 601. This thing is spinning. And then it went away. Try again. There you go. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Let me turn your thing off so you don't hear yourself. Hey, I am
Who's
outlawed.
this? I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry.
My name. Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hey, my name's Emily. If elections were did anything, they would be outlawed, and we're basically. Sorry. What do you think about PSL? What do you think about Party for Socialism and Liberation? And yeah, that's it.
That's your comment. Okay.
I mean, yeah, it's more of a that's it.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Going to 774. Hey, 774, you're live on Tim Black Show. What's your name? What's your comment?
My name is Salah, and I don't know if you heard about this, the two sheriff's deputies that were shot out in LA. And I wanted to comment that, a lot of people are already jumping to conclusions about, condemning this guy and so on. But, nobody really knows. Maybe those cops did something. I mean, they were armed. So maybe he feared for his life. I mean, why doesn't he get the cops? Nobody seems to know anything, and that sheriff's department's known for being gang members and committing all kinds of abuse. So anyways, I just wanted to see what you thought about it.
You said your name is Allah?
Salah.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate the phone call, man. I covered this yesterday, but Salah, I came with a different tact. Like, what I'm saying? Like, I blamed Candace Owens. Because, see, Candace Owens blamed LeBron James. Because LeBron James has been talking about police brutality. So, her idea, and it's not just her, but she's the ringleader, right? Her thing is, anybody who complains about police brutality, if somebody does something to a police officer, even though we don't know who did it or why or anything, right? It's LeBron James' fault. So I said, well, hell, in that same vein, it could be a person who snapped because they heard Candace Owens talking all the gibberish about the Blue Lives Matter bullshit and all the denigrating she did of George Floyd, and got mad and went after cops because they got tired of Candace Owens. They couldn't get her, so they got cops. Like, this same thing works. I don't know why the left plays so fucking soft. The left is too soft. If you got liars like Beck and what's his name, the freaking dude, the Rush Limbaugh and the Shapiro and that all these Candace and it just a bunch of, if you got these guys who don't have any allegiance to reality, if you have these people that spread propaganda constantly, you got to start learning to punch harder. Okay? Punch harder. Hawaiian super sock these mofos, because that's how it is. So I know you guys are timid. Okay, fine. I'm over here. I'm by myself. I'll do it. I'll start punching the shit out of these people, because somebody's got to knock them out. Somebody has to have the cojones to say, oh, this is the way we playing it. We're going to demonize people who are protesting killings by state operatives under our taxpayer dollars. They shot a man 21 times. 21. I didn't hear Candace Owens say anything about these officers shouldn't have shot him 21 times. I mean, she could have at least said, hey, wasn't 12 shots enough? So interesting, Asala point of view to take. I agree. We have no information, no evidence of why this person did what he did. It could have been a personal grudge from something, okay? I never thought of that. Thank you for giving me that bit of information. Still, I have to say, I do not endorse or condone shooting cops. And I don't endorse and condone, here's the other side, you never hear anybody on the Blue Lives Matter crew and these paid-off shills of the conservative right who work for Turning Point USA and similar organizations. I also don't condone civilians being shot by fucking cops. How about that, Johnson? I don't condone that either. Seems pretty simple. No bang bang dead. All right. It seems like a fair shake. 503, you live freedom. 503, how you doing? You're on the show. It's not Friday, it's Tuesday.
It seems like a fair shake. Hi.
Hey, you need to cut down the playback, please.
Hi.
Hey, you need to cut down the playback, please.
It's not Friday, it's Tuesday. Seems like a fair shake. Hi.
Hey, you need to cut down the playback, please.
Hi.
Hey, you need to cut down the playback, please. So we're just going to keep playing it because we don't. I'm having a rough day today, okay? I love you, but I'm having a rough day. I'm going to come back to you. 360. 360. You're live on Tim Black Show. What's your name? What's your comment?
360. Is that me, Tim?
Yeah, that's you, my friend. How you doing?
Thanks, Tim.
Hey.
I really appreciate you taking my call. It's Jenny Quiricone out here in Longview, Washington, Cowlitz County, where they've got kids in jail and they're making a profit off of them. It's disgusting. It's reprehensible. It's unconscionable. And our Cowlitz County commissioners just want to hang on to that contract so they can apparently line their own pockets through the money that they're getting, through their salaries through the city. $200,000 a year. That's what they're making off of kids because ICE pays Cowlitz. No, they're not spending $170 a day taking care of these kids. So, because we've protested, because we've asked, because we've pleaded to stop this contract, which is supposed to go to the end of next year, I took it upon myself, with the blessing of some supporters, to start a hunger strike. I started it on September 11th. I'm a veteran. I figured I volunteered to put my life on the line for strangers before. I can do it again. It's been a few days. My energy's pretty good. My weight's down a bit. But I could use some help. I could use some pressure, folks. The Cowlitz County, Longview, Washington. You can Google them. Their website has all the county commissioners' names and emails. Email them, please. Ask them to end this reprehensible, this unconscionable, this racist contract, because they're holding non-citizens. So, anyway, yeah, if you can help out with that, I'd appreciate it.
So you said this is Tallis County in Longview.
Cowlitz, C-O. I'll put it in the chat. I put something in there earlier, but
in Longview,
it's
Washington.
Cowlitz County in Washington State.
In Washington State. You got any coverage locally on this issue? Is anyone picking up the story?
Yeah, it should be hitting our local paper tomorrow. I had a reporter come out a couple of days ago and talk to me, and photographer take a couple of pictures of me weighing myself and standing in my kitchen. Ain't much in my kitchen right now. Right.
So you said there's so they got a private prison situation where they're getting, per child $170 a day to house children, and that money, goes to that department. It's a privately owned police
detention facility.
Okay. Private owned detention facility. Who owns the detention? Who operates it?
Right.
Do you know who operates it? What's the name of the organization?
Making money off these kids.
Do you know the name of the organization?
Cowlitz County Juvenile Detention Center.
So it's the state that's making money. It's not private prison, or it's not a private organization.
Right. It's the county making money off the feds.
Wow,
yeah.
That's even worse. That's probably the lowest of the low. Actually, not the first time I've heard of such. There was a judge that had a deal with some department where they were just locking up kids, man. These were mostly white kids. They were locking them up just to make money. It was a big expose about it. I forget exactly where, though. I know it was I think it was in the Midwest. But yes, okay, Jenny. Well, definitely, this is going out. This is live right now, and I don't know how many people we got watching at the moment, but they're definitely hearing it. And it's also going to be on a podcast as well. So if you want to give people information on how to contact you or to reach out to you feel free to do so.
Okay, thanks, Tim. Appreciate you giving me a voice. I love you, man, and I love our wolf pack. Go Johnson. Love y'all.
Love you back. Appreciate you so much. Wow, I'm going to have to dig into that story further, and definitely we need to correspond on this story. Wow.
Okay.
Okay, sister.
My name is my email at Hotmail. If you want it.
Okay.
Yep. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Stay safe. Stay healthy.
You
and
too.
Love to your missus. Bye.
Bye. Wow, folks. That's tough. That's definitely tough. I don't know what's going on with my system right now. It's like locked up. Maybe it's such a serious story, it just locked up on me there. A hunger strike. A hunger strike because they're locking up kids for profit, which is why they do it to begin with. Like most of the time, like that's what our system is built on, right? But actually, I can't really make a strong case for why we aren't all livid and willing to go the extra mile as far as it takes to get these prisons shut down to begin with. I mean, this is what the school to prison pipeline is all about in the black community, where they're funneling children up and setting them up to go into the system for the same reasons. All states make money off incarceration. In some places you go in this country, the industries are so shit bad that the most profit-making center in those towns are the prisons. Some places you go in America, the only job to have is at like a Walmart or a prison. And some of you folks know what I'm talking about. This is particularly the case in a lot of Midwestern towns. So, this is not uncommon. But what's uncommon is the dedication that Jenny's showing to do something about it. And I really hope that we can be instrumental and help out and do that. She's a member of the Wolfpack. I didn't know about it. Now I do. And you can't unknow what you now know. So, Jenny, thank you for sharing that information with us, sister. And we'll have to follow up on this. Wow. Okay. Kind of lost where I left off. Now, I'm going to go back to my 503 number, see if my 503 got my point about the background. Hey, 503, you okay now?
I think so.
All right.
How are you, Tim?
I'm good. I'm better. Who's this?
This is Sally in Portland again.
Okay, Sally, what's up?
Okay. I know some of your members comment that I read my responses, and they are right. I do because I try to get through it fast, and so you can get to the next caller. And I'm old and sometimes lose my train of thought, kind of like those guys running for president. So here I go. When we all realize that class is the issue, and yes, black and browns are most affected, but the white poor are not immune, then we can make a difference. It will take all of us together. I had someone in my own family that had to take a plea deal because of Portland cops. His court-appointed attorney said that he had to take it because all the cops would come together and say he hit a cop when it was impossible that he did such a thing. But being poor, we could not afford to defend him. Unfortunately, no one was there with a cell phone. The attorney said that a jury will go with the cops. He said he knew he didn't do a stand, and they're going to say you did it, even though two of those cops had their backs turned to the whole incident. If he had been black, he probably wouldn't have even made it to trial. The first judge that interviewed him and the family told the prosecuting attorney, no way this kid will go to prison. He's a good kid. He has no record. But that prosecuting attorney got it switched to another judge. Into accepting it because he knew his family could not afford to fight. The new judge was prosecutor friendly, and the kid had to go with the plea deal. That judge said in court that he should find other young kids in prison just like him feel better. After doing his time, he has suffered in getting a job and the fear of cops. If they poll his record, it will say he attacked the cop, which he did not do. The cop did it to himself, but was embarrassed and blamed the kid. You can't fight them if you're black and if you are poor. He served his time. He got out early because he was a good prisoner. But the record remains. It is the system. It's the system for opponent attorney to the judges. If you're black, brown, native, or poor, the system will work against you. Please vote down ballot and get progressives in your city government for your sheriffs. And, of course, your state government manages the state patrol. It's the whole system that has to be changed. The top of that ticket is not where it's going to happen. I personally think one will give us more time to infiltrate and get more control, but I will not shame you for how you vote there. And yes, some states will make more progress than others, but we will build from there. It will take us getting out there and making it better for all of us. Start in your own backyard, move to the front. It will take time and more than one election. However, you know me, Tim, I'm going to keep watering those roots to grow that tree to protect and shade us. We can do this. Please, don't give up hope. That is what they want us to do. But we can't and we won't. Don't let your anger or hate stalemate you. We have to keep moving and pressuring. And on a personal note, I'm fine, Tim, although all the smoke here in Portland has made me sick to my stomach, headaches, and burning my eyes. However, I'm much better off than all those actually fighting the fire and have lost so much. But I'm still here and loving you. Stay strong, all my friends, and you, Tim.
Thank you, Sally, so much for that phone call, and thank you for sharing that story. And yeah, I'm very much aware of how spot on your analysis and your storytelling is, and there is a long line of poor people who are poor people go to jail. That's it. Thank you for sharing, Sally, and that's heartfelt story there. Thank you so much. I'm gonna go to the next call. 267. Wow, you live. What's your name? What's your comment?
This is Dave Blackford calling from Louisville. Man, I don't know how I'm going to follow Sally, man. She killed it. But I wanted to clear some things up on the Breonna Taylor case. I've been following it since jump. First of all, as far as the no-knock warrants go, there was an ordinance passed here on June 11th called Brianna's Law, and that outlaws any no-knock warrants here in the city. So that's the first thing. Around the time when George Floyd was killed and you saw the nationwide protests jump off, Louisville got kind of crazy. People burnt some things down, some cop cars. They broke out windows everywhere. That happened for 2 days. Things and they've been largely nonviolent, not peaceful, because people always want to say, oh, that's not a peaceful protest. It's not about peaceful protest. You can't walk around and say no justice, no peace if you're out there protesting peacefully, because that's stupid. So if you're out here saying, oh, that's not a peaceful protest, you need to educate yourself and do the knowledge before you run your mouth, all right? Or written, act like you know what you're talking about and don't make yourself an ass. It's not peaceful protesting. There's no such thing as peaceful protesting unless you're hunger striking or lighting yourself on fire. This is called a nonviolent protest. That means they block traffic. That means general for the state of Kentucky, and they protest out there in his lawn, and they get arrested. That goes back to Greensboro, North Carolina, in the 60s. That has been the way that the civil rights protesters under Martin Luther King, under SNCC, under Stokely Carmichael have been protesting in this country for ever before the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was instituted, okay? So if you call yourself a patriot and you call yourself an American, understand the First Amendment of the United States before you get on the internet and make a goddamn fool of yourself by showing that you don't know anything about the history of this country or the struggle for civil rights, okay? So don't call yourself a patriot if you have no idea what the First Amendment stands for, and then don't walk around here talking about the Constitution when you have no idea what you speak of. Educate yourself before you out here running your mouth. Do the knowledge first, stop lip professing, okay? Second of all, the people out here in Louisville have been out on the street marching for 105 days so far, okay? And that's why you saw the civil case come to a conclusion before the grand jury has returned an indictment. In most cases, the criminal case gets settled, right? And then you see the civil award come through. So Breonna Taylor's family was awarded $12 million today. There's also some money in the GoFundMe account, all right? Now, if you have anything to say about the amount of money that family was awarded to make them whole for the loss of a 26-year-old who has no criminal record, who was 26 years old and was already working in the medical field, if you have anything to say about what that family has been awarded monetarily for the loss of their child, you are ignorant and you are a racist, and you should shut your mouth because you have no idea what it is to lose a 26-year-old daughter or however old that child is. And if you call yourself a pro-lifer or any of that other bullshit rhetoric that the right spews, you shut your mouth because you have no idea what you're talking about. You don't know Tamika Palmer. You don't know any of those family members. That's their pain. That's their suffering. And if somebody's going to offer them $12 million, damn, that's their right to take it. It has nothing to do with the criminal charges. And if you don't understand the difference between a civil case and a criminal case, again, shut your mouth and don't call yourself a patriot because you don't understand the justice system, okay, or the legal system. Because $12 million to someone who has lost their child, that may not be justice. That might not be a just result, but that is the best legal result from our legal system. You might not know the definition of justice. You probably can't define justice. You've probably never read Plato's Republic. You probably never read Watership Down. You probably never read Red Hat, Green Hat, Blue Hat. Okay? So go back to Disneyland if you out here talking this nonsense. However, the case on the criminal side of things is in front of the grand jury. Okay? Now, will there be a conviction? Will there be charges filed in this case? I'm a lawyer, and I'm going to tell you, it's going to be tough. In what we call a dragnet. And while they say some people didn't have the wrong house, they had her address, they went in there. Okay. In Kentucky, in this backward state, there is castle doctrine, which means if someone comes in your home, you're allowed to fire on them. Okay. We also have no-knock warrants. Now, initially, the warrant was a no-knock warrant, but at the 12th hour, it was changed to a knock and announce. Now, if you watch the New York Times documentary on Hulu, you'll be able to watch everything. And there's one witness who said, the police said, police twice, police twice in the middle of the night. Is if people are watching a movie in their bed, they probably don't hear that. All they hear is the bang, 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 the door fly open. And then this man, Kenneth Taylor, who shot the first cop that came in the door, who subsequently had his case dismissed by the county attorney because they deemed that he was in his constitutional rights pursuant to the castle doctrine to defend his home with a firearm that he owned legally, was in his rights to shoot at this person because he didn't hear them say that. Okay? But what ensued was a gunfight after that. And unfortunately, Brianna died. And there's a good chance that only one of these police officers get charged. And he's probably not going to get charged with murder or manslaughter. It's probably going to be wanton endangerment. Okay? So there's a good chance by the law that protects police who the state sends out to kill with warrants that justify whatever they do after the fact, especially if they take fire. So there's a good chance none of these cops get charged. Although I think one of them will be charged with what's called a D felony, which is a 1 to 5 year sentence. Okay? So if that's what's probably going to happen, and they want to take $12 million in a civil suit, not a criminal suit, that's not a sellout. She gets what she deserves. Okay? And no, you can't bring Brianna back with any amount of money. That $12 million is a lot better than nothing. Okay? So that may not be justice, but that is the best legal outcome you can get from that scenario when your daughter is in the ground. So anybody that has anything to say negative about, oh, she took the money or they sold out, or if you're mad that your tax dollars are paying for that, don't put that on Brianna's mom. Don't put that on Brianna because one time she dated a drug dealer who had a warrant on 4 other houses throughout the neighborhood. You're not perfect either. We've all run into some people we shouldn't have ran into. We've all run with the wrong crowds. But that's nothing to do with it because she didn't deserve to die. Okay? But $12 million, you take that if you're offered that. And you would take it too. Especially if the criminal outcome is not going to be favorable to her. And mark my words now, if anything, one of those cops is going to end up picking up a wanton endangerment charge, which is a D felony, which is the lowest level felony you can get. So don't pass judgment before others pass judgment on you. Tim, that's all I got to say. Peace.
Man, thank you, Dave, for calling in, man. That is amazing, amazing truth telling going on in this show, man. Wow. Yeah. I got an attorney who's scheduled to come on the show next week. His name is Christopher Brown. He tries a number of cases similar to the Breonna Taylor case. More specifically, though, more in line with the recent Munoz case, where a man has a mental issue and the police shoot him, or similar to the case we saw just play out, was it Houston, Texas, where they shot the young man 21 times. So we're really getting into the nooks and crannies of a legal system, and I appreciate you, David, for shedding so much light on this subject and doing so thoroughly, my brother. I'm very proud to have you as a caller. Thank you for sharing your benefit of your experience and your education and your firsthand knowledge with our audience. It's hell of impressive and much needed. I would say, though, if more programs focused on educating people to the legal process, you'd have less of those people spewing these crazy-ass, stupid comments. I mean, they're being fed, particularly about the protests, as you brought out, people not understanding what a protest is, what it consists of. And what you described to me is a nonviolent protest, in my opinion. Just in the vernacular of a layman's term, unless you're whipping people's asses, it seems nonviolent to me. Blocking stuff, that seems nonviolent to me. But we know how they spin it on the right or the Fox News, whatever. They find one incident and they make the protest about the broken window when there's 70 different cities there were protests going on simultaneously at different cities, and they find 3 cities where at a particular time there was violence at those, and they paint entire protests, entire movements as violent. So anyway, that's enough. David, shut it down. Thank you, my brother. I'm going to the next call. 252. You're live on the Tim Black Show. What's your name? What's your comment?
Hey, Tim. This is Kira calling from Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Kara, what's going on, sis?
I wanted to talk more about the Breonna Taylor. I want to talk about 2 things, but I wanted to dive deeper because, we had previously talked about how there's a very close relationship between EMTs and the police department, and I still find it very suspicious that she was not notified at her work that there was a warrant for her arrest or there was a warrant in connection with her address, and this could have all been casually avoided. I think that the fact that they came to her house in the middle of the night, to me, was just strange because she's a public servant just like they are. You know what I'm saying? And I know in my community, public servants are given a benefit of the doubt when it comes to legal ramifications, when it comes to things that involve, where potentially somebody is going to go to jail. But I also think that it's also suspicious that allegedly they already had the person that they was looking for in connection with the Breonna Taylor case in custody at the time when they went to her home. So I just don't understand how all of this manifested in the way that it is, but we're supposed to have trust in the police and in the system. You know what I'm saying? Like, the unorganized bullshit of this case on full display just shows you that the system needs reform in every which way. There's no reason why somebody who has no criminal background should be treated in this manner, especially someone who works essentially for the state already. And it just really boggles me that they use excuse after excuse, but they can't use that in this case. They can't use that because she was a state employee, and I think that's why that they went ahead and hurried up and gave her family this money. And then, I want to talk about the aspect of how they went, the individual that they were looking for, they had in custody, and they tried to wrap in that she was a part of, why would they go to those lengths if they honestly and truly felt like that there was no wrongdoing in what they did? And that's the hypocrisy that we have to talk about, not just in the Breonna case. We need to talk about this in all cases involving minorities, where they instantly go after the record of the person, or they try to go after the people that the person is associated with and use that as a reason for why the police did not do their jobs properly. At the end of the day, I don't give a damn if this person, like I said before, if this person killed someone, they still have constitutional rights. They still have a right to be apprehended and tried and put. That is the whole point of this. And I think that when you have situations like this, you do need to be. And then situations like this happen, and then you go silent, you are complicit with what is going on, and you are the reason why there are a lot of African Americans and, other people, everybody is pretty much up in arms about this case, out here protesting. And I hope that they continue to protest because, like her family member said, there's no justice. These police officers have not been charged, and they should be. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just outrageous. But secondly, I'm trying to be concise because I be going over and stuff. But I want to know you didn't talk about this in your segment today, but I want to know what you think about Kamala Harris and her Freudian slip. I think it was yesterday when she basically said, yeah, it's going to be the Kamala Harris administration with Joe Biden as the head, as that she was basically going to be running the country, I want to know what you think about that. Thanks for always letting me speak my truth to power and give my opinion on things.
All right, Kara, thank you for the phone call, sister. I appreciate it. Wow. Yeah, Freudian slip. Yeah. I don't know if it was a slip. I think it was strategic. I think that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are no fools. They realize that there is no momentum behind their campaign. They're looking for some type of jolt, and they're hoping that maybe Kamala could give that jolt. Maybe people can get excited about her. Also heard some talk about more boosting some issues regarding Indian Americans, immigrants. So trying to get some type of fire, enthusiasm about the Biden campaign without it being about Biden, because there really is none. I mean, that's what I get from it. I don't think she made a mistake. I think there was a planned oops. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. But wow, good point. Maybe I should do a video about that. That's funny. 314, you're live on the Tim Black Show. What's your name? What's your comment? 314.
Hey, Tim. Great show tonight. These callers have been great. I was curious about when they first started talking about defund the police, and I had never heard that, put like that before. But whenever something is that kind of vague and non-specific, I was thinking they're getting ready to do nothing. And so I was thinking, if they had been talking about reform the police or demilitarize the police, I'd be interested. I'd be thinking, okay, let's hear specifically what they're going to do. And, I think the callers have been right on tonight because they're talking about specific reforms that we want to see. And I think we have to keep that dialogue specific about reforms because these cops work for us. And when you have an emergency and you call the cops, you're calling someone, and these reforms are going to create who shows up at your door in an emergency. And so, the reforms I would think we would be looking for maybe would be like steroid test to disqualify, people on steroids, because I've known people that take steroids and they tend to, be violent. And I know a lot of cops are taking steroids, and if it's illegal or not illegal, but if it's a regulation that you can't take steroids in sports, why are we letting cops take steroids? And IQ tests would be good. People with, that are carrying guns shouldn't be too stupid because, I just think that's apparently if you test too high on an IQ test, they disqualify you from being a policeman, and it should be the other way. They shouldn't have imbeciles, carrying guns as cops, and the systemic racism against Black, brown, and poor people is just it's not going to stop if you defund something. You know, like if you had 100 cops, then you defund them, and they hired 50 cops, they could still kill people in the street and execute people in their homes. And you know, the last thing I'll say is I don't trust the NFL at all right now, because I saw a commercial where they're showing, oh, we're going to bring back the NFL. Somebody has Breonna Taylor on their helmet. These are the same people that when Colin Kaepernick was talking about this exact issue, they run him out of the league. You know, and I heard a bunch of people making excuses for it, like, well, he's not that good of a quarterback. It's like, it has nothing to do with X's and O's. I mean, this is, somebody was doing the exact same thing that they claim that they're doing right now, and now all of a sudden, you know, it's just the only thing Johnny come lately. Yeah, we always been against racism and stuff. You know, it's just a lot of nonsense going on. But anyway, great show tonight, and I love you. Thanks for letting these people and me call up and talk to you, man. You're doing a great job. Thanks.
Thank you, brother, for calling up, man. I appreciate it. Only thing I would say, man, is so, you know, nearly half of the shootings that involve police and citizens, the victim is, you know, suffer from some type of mental episode, or maybe a wellness check, or maybe they're off their medication, or something to that extent that should have been dealt with in a different manner, right? So if we defunded the police and reallocated some of that resources to other agencies that we create, or if we gave more money to mental health facilities, where we actually have trained people to deal with folks who are going through some traumatic issue, a traumatic situation, instead of having untrained officers who've been given 2 days on a teleseminar and a workbook to go deal with this in real time. I think we need to have people who are actually, you know, involved, compassionate, and this is their career, and they're trained for this situation. So that money would go to that organization. I think this should be a totally different number. I know the story with Ricardo Munoz, who they shot recently. They had just taken him he had just been seen by a doctor, or I think they tried to phone a facility that said, well, we don't have the resources to help you. You need to call the police. And then they reluctantly called the police, and then he ends up dead. So this is, you know, de-escalation is not a strong suit for the police. So defunding the police in that situation would help. It wouldn't be, you know, half as many. You're paying cops less money. In fact, I'm for paying cops more money, just having less cops. I think there should be other occupations besides police officer. And, yeah. But I appreciate the phone call, man, and thank you for participating. 518. You're live on Tim Black Show. What's your name? What's your comment?
Oh, hello?
Hey, how you doing?
This is 518.
Yes.
Oh, you can hear me?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Yeah, everybody said so much, though. It's kind of difficult to contribute. Ooh, I don't know what to say. But I like your show, though. I really do. Yeah, you got a very, very, very kind of straightforward way to get at the issues. That's what I like about your show. Because, I mean, you ain't beating around the bush and you're filling us with all that nonsense. I really like your show. I've been watching you for at least a year now. Because, I mean, I came across you by accident, and I really appreciate your contribution to the development of our people. Because we definitely is coming up. I mean, I don't know how far we going to come up, but we is definitely coming up. Mm-hmm. And we on the... I don't think that woman can win that. Because, I mean, the things that she do are, what do you call that, shooting yourself in the foot? So how is she going to come out? I mean, even if that was true about her being the leader and that Biden just kind of being it, I mean, she shoots herself in the foot. I ain't going to do nothing just for black people.
Right.
And, I mean, what, are black people that silly that they would let somebody say something like that to them and then just don't do anything about it? Because ain't no way in hell that they going to get the kind of, voter participation that Barack Obama got. because we didn't know what he was going to do. And now we know that Kamala Harris is Barack Obama 2.0. There ain't no doubt about that. And the change that is getting ready to take place in the country is got to be pretty spectacular, I think. I mean, I'm not really against Donald Trump being president because I think Biden is a disaster. And what he was able to accomplish in this little period of time, what was his name? Trump. The things that, look at how difficult it's been for him. They act like they just rolled over and handed it him. That's not what happened. It was kicking and screaming all the way. Like he got elected president and they just got on his case right away. They didn't give him no break. And I don't know how the country think he's going to win. I mean, lose rather. Because Biden doesn't really have a platform. I mean, I don't know. He said something to the effect that his first priority was homosexuals. Wow. That's what he said. When he gets in the White House, the first priority is the gays. And I'm like, what? But that's all I got to say. But thank you.
Wow.
Thank you. I appreciate your program.
All right,
It's
brother.
very enlightening. I don't even watch like TV news no more. It's a waste of time. You know they lying.
My man, look,
And if
man.
they ain't lying, they just, manipulating the truth.
Yeah. No, that line is, you can call it line, brother. I appreciate you for calling up, man. And, look, I want people to hear how everyday folks, and I'm going to call you everyday folks in the most respectful way possible, man. Like us, I'm part of media now, but how voters, like regular folks who make their own mind up, who watch whatever they choose to watch, how they think about the Democratic Party, what they think about Joe Biden. And you're absolutely right, man. There is very little platform behind Joe Biden. So Bernie Sanders said that Joe Biden should focus on what? Economics, pockets, health care, child care. And they tell Bernie, basically, mind your business, Bernie. They said, stop talking about Trump and focus on issues that people care about, or you're going to lose. I just put a video out to that effect. And their solution or their reaction to that very sage advice, which is the same advice I think you would give them if they put you on the payroll and ask you, sir, what do you think we should do to win the black vote? Or to let any vote, really, because I think the pocket is it's an equal opportunity issue. I don't care if you're Native, Indigenous, Hispanic, Black, LGBTQIA, whatever you are, white, immigrant, born here, wherever. Being able to live indoors is a very important issue. So they told Bernie basically to shove it up your ass, you old man, as if what they're peddling now is good. So I actually think, and you heard this before, I actually believe, man, that they'll happily lose to Trump before they change and do anything for us. And you're right about Obama. Yeah, we didn't know Obama was gonna go in there and go, hey, listen, hey, Michelle, tell these Negroes to leave me alone. You know, when I was out in the streets of Chicago, I wasn't worrying about you black folks then. I ain't worrying about you now. You know, if we'd have known that he was gonna have that attitude, pull your pants up, Pookie. Pull your pants up, Pookie. If we knew that, we never would have elected him. Because if you remember back to 2008, we weren't exactly excited. We were like, who is this guy? Barack Hussein Obama. You know what I'm saying? People were very hesitant about Barack Obama. And if we'd had any idea, but he did the things, he did the Bill Clinton. You know, Bill Clinton with wearing the sunglasses, playing the sax. Instead, we had Obama up there hanging out with Jay-Z, doing knock dirt off his shoulder and saying rap lyrics, right? So he did the same type of pandering, and we fell for it. But that was our first time, so you kind of, But hopefully, I agree with you. I don't think that's going to work for Kamala. So I think she's going to try to go the other route, using other parts of her background. She's going to go women, because she just won. It's going to use that, other parts of her identity. And she's now looking for, her Asian or Indian ancestry. She's going to use that as well. And then try to, throw a little bit of Al Green on there a little bit too. But I'm going to go ahead to the next call, man. I appreciate you calling up. That's Kira. Okay, 404, you're live on the Tim Black Show. What's your name? What's your comment?
Hey, Tim. My name is Sharon. I'm calling from Atlanta, Georgia. Just a couple of things I wanted to kind of talk about here. First of all, I've written in a couple of times, written some comments on your different posts that you have out there on Facebook. And this whole election is kind of a joke. And the reason I say that is the far left's entire platform is get Donald Trump out of office. And it's no secret. That's what they said over and over again. The whole concept behind this initiative has been everything we've been seeing playing out in the world.
You said the far left?
The hijacked
hold on a second. You said the far left?
Yeah.
You watch Fox News, don't you? It's okay to tell the truth.
I watch a lot of news, actually.
You watch Fox News?
That's one of the stations I watch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because let me give you this information so that you know, right? The far left is not Hillary Clinton, right? It's not Joe Biden. Okay, that's not the far left. That's the middle. Okay, so when you talk far left, you're talking about people who want like the Green New Deal, who want to end mass incarceration, who want to clean up the environment. Like these are different. I'm sorry.
Harris.
Who?
It's Harris and AOC and all of those.
AOC is further left than Biden. Biden's center. Biden is a Republican.
Right. No, I know.
But you wouldn't say you won't.
Sanders, you got AOC.
No. These are different. I'm trying to educate you. Don't fight me on this. I'm telling you, policy-wise, Joe Biden and Obama are Republicans. They are Ronald Reagan. You understand? They're Ronald Reagan Republicans. That's what they are. They vote for wars, just like Republicans. They're in bed with Wall Street, just like Republicans. They are not the left. The left are people who do peaceful protests or people who protest war. You'll never find Obama took us from 2 wars to 7. He's not a peace advocate. That's the left. So what we have is a disconnection. Hippies didn't vote for war; they voted against war. When you think far left, think hippie. Get what I'm saying? This is lies that are put out there that people don't understand.
What I was trying to tell you here. What I'm trying to say is that and then you've got Trump.
Okay, say that one more time. You broke up. You said you were trying to tell me what now? I couldn't hear you.
I said you've got the Harris-Biden or Biden-Harris ticket, however you want to say it.
Okay.
And then you've got Trump.
Okay.
In this election.
Okay.
And you couldn't have a more polarized side difference. You couldn't. One is for America. The other is to transform America.
Who's transforming America?
And the Biden-Harris ticket.
How would they transform America?
It's a complete. Have you ever read Agenda 2030? It's a UN document. If you go to UnitedNations.org and you read Agenda 2030, you'll see the Biden-Harris platform in writing. You'll see it.
Okay.
There's an initiative here.
Okay.
It's not just a few people throwing out ideas.
Okay.
There's a whole plan in place.
Okay. How would they transform America?
Bigger.
It's just a question. What do they want to do to transform America?
Okay, 0 carbon emissions by 3 years.
You don't want to hold on a second. You don't want to clean. You see what's going on in California and Oregon? You don't want to end that?
Think about this. I've listened to you. You're very smart. So think about this. To have 0 carbon emissions, that means you can't have any carbon dioxide. Right? What do you breathe out as a human? What do you breathe out? Carbon dioxide. How does that work? So how is This is a
They're talking about
population
vehicles, right? They're talking about
agenda.
vehicles that they just wanted to clean up the air with the vehicles, right?
No.
No, that's
We're
not what they
talking
want to
about-
do. Okay. So
When
what
you
else?
say you
So
wanna
what
get
else would
down
they?
to-
What else?
Hold
What else you
on,
don't like
hold
that they
on.
want to do? What else do you not like that they want to do?
Hang on. When you say you want to get down to zero carbon emissions, that means you can have no carbon dioxide going in the air.
Okay.
But
Let's
you
say
breathe
you
carbon
know what I don't know
carbon
enough
dioxide,
about
so do
I don't know enough about that. It seems like you do. What is something else that they want to do that you don't want to do?
They want to get rid of all fossil fuel.
But you want to keep fossil fuels.
That means you can't make tires. That means no plant. No, there'd be no jobs like that.
Yeah, you don't think this?
Car
We can get other jobs though, right? I mean, it's not. And look, I'm not here to argue for Kamala Harris or Joe Biden, but it just seems like you're concerned about things that I don't know. How does that impact your daily life if you had a car that was somehow running on clean energy? I don't know how that would. Why would that negatively affect you? To have cleaner air, how would that negatively affect you? Forget how we get there. There's different ways to get. There's different ways to get to that point, but you do want that, right? You do want you want cleaner air, though, right? You do care about that,
You
right?
have clean.
It's a yes or no question. You do want.
Fine.
You do
But
want
the
clean
amount
air.
that They're talking.
You do want
Did I-
that, though, right?
I said yes. I said yes.
Okay, I couldn't hear you.
But
So,
to
like,
get
there's
to
different ways to get to
the
it.
point-
There's different ways to get to it, but you do want the same objective. Like that is something you want. So there's different ways to get to it, but you don't. I don't think that they're going to meet their projections if they were elected. I don't think they meet their projections in 3 years. But I think that we do need to go to cleaner energy. I mean, I think that all of us who have kids, I know I have kids, you have kids. I'm assuming we want them to be able to breathe, and if we can generate jobs in other ways that don't involve continue polluting the planet that we have, we see what's going on right now. I mean, this is not a conspiracy. The fires are real. 500,000 acres just burnt up. That came from something. But I appreciate your phone call. Yeah, I appreciate your phone call, and it's real nice to talk to you. I hope you listen to the part I said about the, don't with the left and the right, because you don't really know what the left and right are, Don't worry. If Joe Biden wins, nothing's going to change. He's already said he wouldn't do shit. So I don't know what scare tactics they're using on Fox News, but they've already said, like, Joe Biden said nothing fundamentally would change. That's what he told all the bankers. So don't worry. And Joe Biden and Barack Obama, or Joe Biden and the Clintons and Trump are friends. They're buddies, man. They're the same. They're all the same. Mike Pence and Joe Biden are buddies. Like these are people that have been in Washington forever with the shit being the same way it's always been. I mean, I don't think it would change dramatically. It's unfortunate that we're getting caught up on these issues. Yeah, I don't understand why you. I mean, I know want my kids to live in a cleaner planet. And if there can be jobs generated some other way, I'd love for that to happen. All right. 7:03. You're live on Tim Black Show. What's your name? What's your comment?
Hey, Tim. This is Mark O'Brien. Regarding your last phone caller, can you say Karen Weinmom? But anyway, so first I kind of want to briefly comment on the Breonna Taylor case. We need to arrest the police killers of Breonna Taylor. Full stop, period, end of story. To say is that I totally agree with you with what you said at the Movement for People's Party convention. Fuck Trump, but also fuck Joe Biden. However, I kind of want to get your take on my way of thinking on this thing. So when Bernie first initially dropped out and Biden was the presumptive nominee, I decided I was going to vote green, but I always said that in a battleground state, which several polls now make them look neck and neck then I would think about and consider like voting for Joe. Are my two reasons for why I'm probably going to vote for Joe Biden, and I know that people will voter shame me for that, but this is just, but I'm trying to just like explain my way of thinking and also get like released who he would nominate to the Supreme Court, which included Ted Cruz, Tom Cotton, a lot of like horrible people. And I know Joe Biden is also horrible, but I feel like his Supreme Court nominees won't be that bad. And then like the second reason is that Trump like obviously has admitted to underplaying the coronavirus. And I feel like if Biden can be slightly better, on coronavirus, then that's a plus. So for like those two reasons, I kind of decided that, and this was like last week, I just finally decided, you know what, I'm voting for Joe Biden. And I'll probably puke afterwards, but, and you know, I have a ton of lefty friends that will probably voter shame me for that, but I kind of wanted to get your take on like that, like on my way of thinking on that. But anyway, have a good night. Thank you so much.
Absolutely,
thanks.
man.
Bye.
Have a good night yourself, my brother. Thank you for calling up. No, I don't do no voter shaming here, man. This is a vote shame free zone, brother. Because look, we have such a, first of all, given the decisions that we had to make and what we had to choose between, I don't know how you could blame any voter for their vote. Like I don't even blame Trump supporters. Now, I do blame Sharon for not wanting to listen to reason, knowing she didn't know much about the left at all other than what she heard on Fox News. And then bringing up something about how people breathe or something. But I wouldn't even blame her for voting for Trump because, I mean, it's not like she's got 100 choices. I get that. You know, like this fallacy that Trump is the big liberator is some bullshit, though. Like these people, they I don't know what they talking about. He liberated. I don't get it. What has he liberated us from? I don't understand. You know, if you want to talk about deportations, I hear Obama did a better job than. If you're a deportation fan, well, then you would have liked Obama, but you didn't, because it's not about what he actually did. It's just you were told to hate the guy, so you do. And you're no better than the Democrat type folks who hate Trump and don't know anything about Trump. Like, I can give you reasons, like all these damn conservative judges that Trump's been implementing around the country to make it harder for poor people and people of my skin tone to get a fair trial. You understand what I'm saying? Like that, my chocolate brothers and sisters, as Dr. Cornel West would say. So that would be a substantive reason for why people like or dislike Trump. Okay, but like most people are not really privy to the changes that he's been making on the state level, using his pen to do so. But I mean, as far as you making the decision on who you're going to vote for, brother, like I said, that is totally up to you. I live in Maryland. There is no way that Donald Trump's going to win Maryland. This is not going to happen. I mean, he might win a game of who can eat how many cheeseburgers the quickest, who can eat 20 cheeseburgers in one sitting, but he ain't going to win Maryland. You understand what I'm saying? It ain't going to happen. So I'm very much free. I'm as free as an 18-year-old white woman with a rich daddy. You understand what I'm saying? I'm very free. This is my country at this point. I can do what I want to do. Like Paul Mooney would say, I'm like a white girl. So in that respect, like I don't give a damn. And I'm entitled to do what I want to do because I live in Maryland. And like I said, so I can vote green because I'm given that luxury and I don't even have to think about it. But if you live somewhere, and I'm sorry you were breaking up, I couldn't hear where you lived at, you got a harder decision to make. Be that as it may, I don't blame you for however you vote. There are people who will make the argument of the mitigation of pain and suffering that could be avoided by voting for Joe Biden. Others make the argument that Trump will speed the demise of the republic, which will help usher in a more astute defense against and to finally slay that dragon that Senator Nina Turner talks about. And so these schools of thought, like, I'm taking it all in and I feel it. At the end of the day, we're going to deal with whatever we presented to deal with, and we're going to continue to fight for the issues that matter to us. So as long as you are committed to fight that fight with us, and you're committed to do that, regardless to who's in the White House, at this point, it seems like whoever's going to be, there's going to be a lot of fighting that we're going to have to do. So it's just at what level. Some would argue that it's easier to fight a neoliberal than it is to fight a neo-fascist. Others see it another way. And how you see it. And don't worry about your friends, man. What friends vote shame? What is this? You sound like a young guy. You guys sit around arguing with each other about who you're voting for? I mean, come on, man. Your friends going to be pissed off with you because you voted for Joe Biden, who they say you should vote for. You want you to vote for Howie Hawkins? You should do which is going to help you sleep at night, whatever that is for you. 310, you're live on the Tim Black Show. What's your name? What's your comment?
Tim?
Hey, you're live.
90 seconds.
Oh, it's me. Oh, I'm so sorry. This is Martha. How you doing?
I'm good. What's going on, sis?
Oh, honey, sitting up here pissed off about this Breonna case. Everybody can plainly see ain't nothing gonna happen to them cops. So we might as well forget that. That's why they're giving so much money. And you know why I think they settle so quickly? Is because
60
of the
seconds.
going down there twice. So I think by them giving the money, they could, kill two birds with one stone. They could say, okay, NFAC, you don't need to come down here no more. Let's see. Mr. Cameron is probably, since he spoke at the RNC, they probably got him on the track to move up because I think he wants to be governor. Give the family some money, and, what can you say after and he can go ahead and be governor, and then that's the end of that. That's what I think is going on. But I can't.
10 seconds.
I'm sorry, and Lord, if Benjamin Crump say go after one more K, I guess this is the first one he won, isn't it? Do you remember?
He got some money in the Trayvon Martin case as well on civil side. He's won a couple of cases on this. He's won a lot of money on the civil side, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's all he does. He doesn't try any criminal cases. He's totally an ambulance chaser. All of his stuff is, civil. So I guess he feels good about that. And I'm like, oh, my God, is there any other lawyer in the country that these families could get, for the love of God? But, yeah, that's what I feel is going on with that whole thing. That's the end of that. And then I wanted to say something about Candace Owens. What did you think about what she said about LeBron and the NFL?
Oh, I did a video. I think we need to start blaming Candace Owens for all the violence. Like, I think she creates terrorists with her propaganda, and getting people pissed off. I think she creates terrorists, people who are just striking back because they hate her. That's what I think.
Yeah, some of that, and then some is just people tired, because you see how they just shot these two out here in L.A. But, who's to say? I don't know. They haven't found who did it yet. But, the gangbangers came together out here. And, I think that's what they're trying to say. It might have been a gang person that shot those two cops. And I don't believe in, shooting just random innocent cops either. However,
some got to go down with the ones that's perpetrating this stuff, because they just killed a young man out here a week or so ago, because they still killing folks out here. So I already can see that that's some more of that is gonna happen, I believe, and it ain't, some of them little brothers don't know who the hell Candace Owens is, so they they're just tired. I think that's what it's gonna get to. People finally gonna get pushed to that last particular nerve, and then this stuff is gonna start happening. So how can they say anything? Why don't people get just as upset about the civilians, the regular citizens being killed when, just because a cop gets killed, oh my God, the world got to end. Well, welcome to the club. Dues are free. So that's all I got to say today. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the phone call, sister. I appreciate you. And actually, in this case, they were fortunate because both of the officers survived the attack. Now, there was an attack of a white nationalist, one of the Boogaloo boys, whatever, shot like 5 cops. I didn't hear Candace Owens or anybody really say much of anything because it didn't fit their narrative. And so, I agree with you. I want to stop all, I would like it if none of us got shot. Like, that's what I would like. I don't get what I want, but that would be great. And I don't support either way, carnage on either side. You understand what I'm saying? So that's how I look at it. Least of all, brothers and sisters who are having a mental, combustible situation or whatever, and then officers that they haven't committed any crime. What about the one brother who was naked, who they choked the life of, Daniel Prue? They choked the life out of this man. Only crime he committed is that he was out of his mind for a moment, for lack of a better term. I'm sure there's a way to put it, but they smothered this man to death. So once again, I didn't hear I heard no pushback, no, I didn't hear these people saying, oh my God, I disavow, we repudiate what these officers did to Mr. Prude. I didn't hear that at all. Instead, Trump skipped right over it and talked about people protesting. Didn't talk at all about the cops that killed a man. So, we do what we can. We do what we can to expose truth here. I appreciate you, smart sister. 408. You're live on the Tim Black Show. What's your name? What's your comment? This thing's spinning.
All right, man. Great.
Hey, how you doing, Alex?
Hey. Okay. So, Alex from Berkeley. I'm here to bring a little positivity. We need a little positivity in this whole world, especially this year. Cops are out of control. Every week, it seems like there's another officer of the law who shoots an unarmed black person in the back multiple times, and even worse, gets off. It's disgusting, and it's commonplace now. That Breonna Taylor situation got me thinking, is there like any end to this? I didn't think so, because when you're a cop, you get desensitized, and the police force as a whole can't be reasoned with because it's a stressful job, and they don't like hearing how they're not doing enough. And conservatives know this, but their brain-dead solution is to ignore the problem. Wow, brilliant. Now the left, you and I, Tim, we know the problem, and all the callers that called before, you all know the problem. But our village idiot drunk Uncle Biden ain't going to do shit about it. Defunding or reforming the police is not on his agenda. So what's the solution? Well, my parents live in a city called Sunnyvale in California near San Jose. It's where I grew up. And it's always one of the top 10 ranked safest cities in the entire country. Nobody shoots anybody in Sunnyvale. And I found out there's a reason why. The police force in Sunnyvale is not a normal police force. What they do is they merge the fire department with the police. So half the year they're cops and half the year they're firemen. And they learn to save lives and not take them. It's just what the doctor ordered in this country. Cops in this country become easily desensitized because they're on the force for multiple years and they end up paranoid. They have like the highest suicide rate after retirement outside of the military, and they constantly live in fear. that, they're going to die. They're on the job. So what happens? They see a black man and they get scared and they shoot him 21 times in the back, and that's never justified. And the real evil here is when they get off, when they use that corruption in the police department and they pull a few strings and they get off on it. That's the real crime, and that needs to stop most importantly. But in Sunnyvale, that never happens in the first place, because half the year, cops learn to fight fires and work as emergency medical technicians half the year. So we hit the problem where it lives. And I thought, wow, how different would this country be if cops got paid to save lives half the year? Combine that with ending the war on drugs, and I don't know, man, I think we'd solve the problem right there. I think it's so crazy, it might work. And that's all I had to say there. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Alex, for the phone call, man. Wow, I haven't heard that story before. That's an interesting configuration where cops are, because if you spend half your time or half your year doing positive or doing work that, gives you rewarded for, gives you that sense of reward where you're helping people, as opposed to cops where you're handing out, for the most part, you're handing out citations and you're penalizing poor people. Come on, let's keep it real. That's really what cops do. I mean, they don't really solve crime. That's detectives. Cops come and take a report and say, oh, okay, sorry about what happened to you. You know what I mean? And they call for the paddy wagon or the meat cooler or whatever to put your body in. Like, that's basically what happens. I mean, that's what cops do. I mean, 2 out of 100 cops actually have to unholster their gun? I mean, this is real life. In real life, that's... So, there's an over-dramatization based on Hollywood that people get this some false sense of what being a police officer is. But you did make me remember one issue there, Alex, and that is, notice how when our caller described the left and she was complaining about Joe Biden and that he would take our country in the wrong direction, and I said, well, what is something that he would do? Notice that she didn't say he was going to give us health care, because she knows he's not. And notice she didn't talk about him, helping people get free tuition in college, because she knows he's not. And she didn't talk about Joe Biden was going to, come in and all of a sudden end mass incarceration, because she knows he's not. Now, she had to dig way down in the bottom of her purse in the corner where there's stuck glue and stuck gum and, a used pad or two. And she said, emissions, carbon emissions. like you know how upset, like full of shit you have to be to find that is an issue. And that just goes to show you that's how messed up we are as a country. That's her hard issue, is he wants to make us carbon emissions free in 3 years, which is just a reflexive proclamation based on half the fucking country being on fire and people's sky being, instead of blue, being like orange. That's all that is him pandering to what's happening in major parts of the country right now. But she don't even see that. But it just goes back to my point that Joe Biden isn't really promising a damn thing that she could even be upset about, that even made sense to be upset about. Now, just imagine what this conversation would have been if it would have been Bernie Sanders who was the nominee. She would be able to complain about, damn it, that Bernie Sanders wants to give people health care. This guy wants to make pharmaceuticals free. It'd been much harder to complain, right? But somehow, somewhere, I think she would have found one. I'm going to go to the next call. 727. You're live on Tim Black Show. What's your name? What's your comment?
Hey, Tim, it's Dimitri from Florida.
Dimitri. All right, Dimitri, what's going on? What's on your mind, my friend?
Well, first of all, I got to apologize. I haven't called in a while. Last time I called in, I fell asleep, so it was probably me snoring on the phone.
Oh, hey, cool, man. How you feeling tonight? You all right?
Yes, sir. I am.
All right,
I wanted to touch base on a few subjects.
Just don't put us to sleep, Dimitri. Don't put us to sleep, brother. What's going on? Just a couple
yes,
of them.
Sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
All right.
the whole sheriff, going at LeBron James to put up $175,000. I think that, from what I've heard, is that everyone's assuming that it's a Black Lives Matter or Antifa person without due process. And I heard as well as Donald Trump Jr. Speaking about Kyle Rittenhouse was like, let's wait for due process, when there's on video the 17-year-old going up and blasting people. And I just think that how quick it or a black and brown person, as opposed to no offense to my white brothers and sisters out there, but that's the realization in the United States. Second of all, I Googled how many hours in Florida does it take to become a police officer. It's exactly 672 hours to become a police officer. My barber has to have 1,500 hours to become a barber in Florida. So he has over 2.5 times more training than the law enforcement that's patrolling us.
Good point.
How many jobs are we the boss and our employees could just beat us and slaughter us on the streets? I mean, they work for us, and we just fell in line along the way. It doesn't sit well with me at all, and we're just supposed to take this.
I hear you. Demetri. Well, look, Demetri, thank you for the phone call, my brother. Good points. I definitely agree with you about the training aspect. Yeah, a lot of professions have much longer gestation periods for actual training before you get your stripes, so to speak. And police officers very undertrained. Very undertrained. And in fact, you don't even need to compare it to barbers. You can compare it to policing in other countries. The same would be true in Australia, for instance, where there's far less crime. They have much more training. In Sweden, they have far less crime, but still they have like 3 to 4 times longer training. So, but the Blue Lives Matter people don't care about that, though. No one seems to give a damn that our cops are trained mediocre, very mediocre training, very lackluster training, compared to other countries in the Western world that have less challenging police work to do. It makes no sense. The most dangerous place, based on numbers, to police would be America, right? We get our cops less training. Bring it up, oh my God. And don't tell me, oh, well, you want to defund the police. If you stop buying the armored tanks and put the money into training, that might help. But nobody wants to do that because it's real cool to drive a tank. It's cool, it's badass to drive a tank. Badass to drive the tank. That's a good catchphrase. Tanks are badass, man. I'm going to go to the next call. 949, you're live. Tim Black Show, what's your name? What's your comment?
Hey, Tim, my name is Bobby. I'm calling from Arizona.
Bob from AZ.
Something...
All right.
Yep. So unfortunately, I'm in one of those situations where I have to think about my vote. Can't sit it out. I'm just like, I'm probably going to end up voting for Biden. But something that really grinds my gears, and I want to get your opinion on, is that I would think after everything we've gone through this year with people losing their jobs, that we as a country on both sides would be talking a heck of a lot more about universal basic income. I know people didn't like Andrew Yang's proposal of UBI. People had some rightfully so arguments about it, like where would it come from, value-added tax, all that. But when you see how we've sped up automation because of this, how Amazon just continues to soak up all the jobs, businesses are closing and are never going to reopen. You have people that didn't even qualify for the $1,200 check because they made too much money last year, yet they lost everything this year because of COVID. and we're not talking about it, I'll go one step further. I think if Donald Trump or Joe Biden came out tomorrow and said, in some form or some way, I'm going to endorse universal basic income, I think for either one of them, they could lock the election in, because people would hear that and say, wow, you're actually proposing something that's going to help me right now. And if someone told me I'm going to vote for Trump because he's proposing UBI, I'd be like, you know what, I think that's a fair, I can't fault you there, because that's a real solution. And funny story, too, is that I got called to do an Arizona town hall meeting with Martha McSally, and I asked her point blank, I said, if you guys in the Senate can just make billions of trillions of dollars appear out of thin air for these corporations, why can't we do the same things with basic income? She didn't have an answer for me. She just said, oh, well, you should talk to your local officials and see if they can do anything to arrange payments for your rent if you're having a problem. And she moved right on. So I just want to get your opinion on that, and I love the show. Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks for calling, Bob. I appreciate it. My issues with the UBI, with Andrew Yang's flavor of it, extended beyond some of the things you pointed out. I like the idea that a single mom would get less money than a two-parent household. That didn't make sense to me. So how can I say this? Don't overestimate the stupidity of Americans. And what I mean by that is, Bob, there would be a lot of Americans who would not agree with the UBI just because they would be like, where's the money coming from? We ain't worth money. We're not worth it. We're not qualified. We shouldn't get money. Let people starve. There are people dumb enough to be that way. I'm telling you what I know. We're unworthy. They actually believe that. They actually believe that poor people don't work hard. Hardest working people I ever met were people who didn't have a lot of money. That's why they had to work so hard. But they see it the other way. Yeah, they think people like Trump work hard. When he inherited millions of dollars in them thriving businesses. They think he's a